You know, being a freelance illustrator has a lot of advantages. You can make your own schedule, you can wake up and work in your pajamas, whatever you want. You got a lot of freedom. So why would anyone want to give all that up? Well, here's a story about why and how I decided to do just that and get a real job. Greetings, people of the internet. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. Welcome to the underground laboratory where we create robots, aliens, zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. And I've been doing that for a while. I've been creating, artwork, well, robots, aliens, zombies. I've always loved doing that kind of stuff. But I've done all kinds of artworks in my long and I'd like to say illustrious career. Maybe that's going too far. No, but I've been doing this for a little while, and it's throughout my career there's been different stages, like I'm sure most people that have been doing this for a while. And there's been times where I was just solely freelance, that's all I did. There's been times where I freelanced while I had like a part-time art job. There's been times where I freelanced where I had a part-time, just a regular job, like I did construction and stuff like that when I was back in the days when I was getting my art career going and everything. There were also times where I worked full-time as a staff artist. And I, for the longest time, I would always say, the goal was to be a freelance artist. I didn't really care to work for, company or whatever. I wanted to just kind of be freelance, kind of make my own hours, do all that stuff. And then after a while, my mindset like totally flipped. And there's a number of different reasons for that, and I'm going to get into that. But yeah, my mindset flipped from, to me, it was, before it was like, you know what, I really don't want to do artwork unless somebody pays me to do artwork. And, well, you know what? I think I'm going to go into that a little more let's just get into some drawings, and I'll go more into that, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I'm going to do some comic book artwork while I'm just just tell you a little story about how I decided to leave freelance altogether and kind of go work for the man. Okay, so while I ink page 14 of this is my comic book Young and the Dead, I'm going to tell a little story about how I decided to quit freelancing, and in turn that led to me taking a full-time job and the reason behind that and everything. But before I go about this, I don't want you to take this as advice, like this is something you should do if you are a freelancer. This is just sort of my story, and I'll kind of go into why and how this all works and everything, because there's different facets to it and everything, and the reason behind it and everything. But everyone's case is going to be different. Some people are looking to get into freelance, and I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I enjoyed the time when I was freelancing, but basically my attitude towards making art kind of took it like flipped, like a 180 flip. Whereas before, the idea of, say, sort of the fine artist model, where you create artwork and then you put it out there and hopefully you can sell it, people will buy it. I always looked at that like, no, I don't like that idea. I mean, I'd rather somebody come to me and say, I need artwork, can you do this? And then I would design the artwork for them. And that's sort of what the freelance, what my company was. I would do logo design, character design, and all that stuff for clients. And then, there were things that I would do where I wasn't really expecting to be paid, like my personal projects, like my comic books and stuff. But most of it, most of my living, the money that came in, it was somebody, hiring me to do a job and then me doing the job, not necessarily doing artwork and then putting it out there and hoping that I could sell it. And then I don't know what the catalyst was or whatever, but it might have been because in doing freelance and in the times that I worked like a part-time job or a full-time job, there was very little stability to that. I worked in game design, and then the game design company would go under. Then I go work for another, if anyone's in animation or game design, this stuff happens all the time. There's really there's sort of a myth that full-time jobs have stability to them. And you might be asking, well, why did you decide to take a full-time job? And part of that is because, well, I guess I'll get into that. But first, let me go back to this sort of mindset change. So anyway, I basically what I wanted to do was build an audience, and I want to build an audience so that to facilitate me doing artwork for other people. I wanted to build an audience so that I could create this kind of things that I liked. And when you're doing freelance, you're not necessarily doing that. You're doing something for other people. Now, in order to do that, one of the things that is kind of strange is that I needed more time. And you would think, well, you quit freelancing and took a full-time job so that you could have more time. And the answer, it's kind of crazy, but the answer actually is yes. And there's a kind of caveat to this, and that is, in order to do this, you really have to love work, and you can't get burnt out on artwork. I know a lot of people that work like art day jobs, like myself, and then they get so burnt out on it that when they come home, they don't want to work on their own personal project. To me, I totally separate the two. You know, my day job is one thing. I go in and I create artwork for a company, but I still have that passion to create my own stuff. So I come home and I do that. So it's basically like I have two full-time jobs. Now, if that sounds crazy to you, this probably is not the right path for you. But for me, you know, the reason why I was saving time, because doing freelance, the amount of time that I spent actually working for the clients was pretty much equivalent to the amount of time that I spent at a day job. Okay? So the rest of that time was drumming up work, you know, marketing myself and getting the word out. And there was just a lot of little busy work and things like that I didn't really care to do, and that I wish I was doing my own thing. So I figured, you know what? I'm gonna go and find a job, something that I like, something that comes pretty natural to me. My day job, if you're not familiar, I design things for the paper craft industry, and that's like rubber stamps and things for like planners and things like that. But it's a lot of illustration. It sounds kind of boring when I explain it, but it's really cool because I draw different things every day. It's really never a dull moment. I'm always drawing something different, but I'm not here to really talk about that. I'm talking about my own path. So in going, you know, in taking this job, I can go in, you know, I like the work I do, but I can kind of bang it out with not much thinking. I'm not managing people or having to worry about any of that stuff. So I go in, I do my work, and I'm not burnt out. I come home, and then I work on my own stuff. So I really wanted to build an audience, and I knew that I in the beginning, I need something to support myself while I'm doing that. So that was kind of the mindset. And in doing that, now what I'm doing is I'm basically designing products, and I'm doing these YouTube videos, and I'm just all this stuff in order to build the audience. And it's really, especially lately, it's a long road. I mean, some people like, it's like an instant thing, or some people can, you know, go viral or something on YouTube and all of a sudden they've got this huge audience. But for me, it's taken a while. I've probably been on YouTube for a good 4, maybe 5 years, and I don't have a huge audience, but just recently it's really starting to pick up, and there's some momentum there. And as long as that trajectory keeps going, it's going to be a good thing, I think. So, and I've got a lot of new people that have found me through various videos, and welcome aboard and everything. But it is starting to kind of head where I wanted it to, and I think a lot of people would have given up a long time ago. But the thing is, I like making these videos. I love YouTube. I like putting tutorials out there and talking with people in the comment section and all that kind of stuff. So you really have to love it. If you go in just like, I want to be a YouTube star, and I have no intention of being a YouTube star or anything. I just want to find like-minded people that kind of like what I'm doing and it resonates with them, and then, you know, hopefully, you know, they may be interested in the things that I'm creating. So, you know, that's kind of the idea behind it. But you gotta, I mean, it's kind of like you just gotta stick with it. And if you're gonna go this route, I mean, there's a lot of sacrifices you have to make. I mean, I don't play video games. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't, spend the weekends watching sports or anything like that. I mean, I do find time for my family and to just take a break here and there. I mean, you do need that, but a lot of my time after I get done with the day job is coming home and working on my other stuff. Like I said, it's almost like 2 full-time jobs. And depending on what position you're in, I mean, you don't have to. Sometimes art jobs like the one I have aren't that easy to come by, especially if you're just starting off. But it doesn't have to be an art job. You could work a regular day job as long as it's something that, hopefully you're not going to get burnt out or get too tired. So when you come home, you can work on your own stuff, because that becomes a problem for a lot of people. But there's just a lot of sacrifices, and you really have to stick with it. And like I said, a lot of people would have given up a long time ago, but now things are finally starting to. It seems like there's some momentum happening, like with the YouTube channel, and just a lot of good things have happened just in the last couple weeks. I may have seen the video I did about the bundles. So I was featured in this bundle, and that went really cool and everything. And that was for my digital projects, which is something I just started doing. And a lot of people that sometimes takes a while to get into. And I spent a lot of time doing that, and I could have put that out there, and it may have went nowhere. And for a little while, it didn't seem like it was really catching on. But then all of a sudden, it caught the attention of some really cool people. So that's cool. The other thing that happened was I was invited to be a guest at Phoenix Comic-Con, and I've exhibited at Phoenix Comic-Con for a while, but I was never invited as a guest. I mean, they're paying for my table and all that kind of stuff. So that's super cool. But yeah, things like that, they're starting to happen. So that's really cool. But before I wrap up, I want to go to the idea of stability. And when I took my full-time job, it wasn't for stability, because the days of you working 30 years and getting to go watch and all that is over. I mean, that just doesn't happen. I've worked enough art jobs and gotten laid off so many times that, I mean, seriously, every time I go into my work, I think to myself, this could be the last day. I mean, I could get laid off anytime. So, but I just, and the stability isn't in a full-time job. There's more stability, to me anyway, there's more stability if you can create something for yourself, because you have total control over it. You can't, I mean, if things aren't working, you have the ability to change things and improve things, and but I mean, I'm not quite at that point yet, but with the full-time job, when you're working for somebody else, at any point they could just we don't need you anymore, or this position's been eliminated, or whatever like that. So, but if you're able to support yourself and work for yourself, you kind of make the rules and you're in control. So that's something to think about too. So hopefully this helped. Again, this is pretty much just particular to me, but maybe it gives you guys some ideas, or kind of how to help you if you're in a similar situation, or you're trying to think different things over. Should I freelance? Should I work full time? Should I, just try to build an audience and try to support myself that way? But anyway, that's what I've been doing, and so far, and recently things are looking up, I guess. Okay, so that's pretty much my story, and yeah, I'm kind of happy with the way things are going, and it's a little different. It's a whole different mindset for me than what I used to think. So I'm just curious if you guys, if you've been working professionally, or you're trying to kind of break into the business, what was your attitude maybe in the beginning? Maybe you started doing something that you thought you were going to be into, and then after a while you were a little disillusioned by it. Maybe you decided not to do that and go in a different direction. I'm real curious. Let me know in the comment section, and I will talk to you guys later. That is all. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me here in the Art Lab. There's a lot of other great content on the channel, so click that subscribe button and you won't miss a thing. If you're an aspiring evil genius, visit Serkworks.com for all your mad science supply needs. And if you want to contact me, hit me up in the comments section or follow me on social media. I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you then.